UFC Fight Night Volkov versus Aspinall full card prediction. We got Alexander Volkov and Tom Aspinall in the 5-round main event. Volkov fought some absolute beasts in this division. He's fought in Cyril Gane, Curtis Blades, Alistair Overeem, Derek Lewis, Fabricio Werdum. He's fought Tim Johnson, Roy Nelson. He's fought the who's who of the heavyweight division, but now he's that stage in his career where he's got to fight some of those up-and-coming prospects. And Tom Aspinall is 100% an up-and-coming prospect. He's an absolute beast on a tear in this UFC heavyweight division, knocking out Sergei Spivak in the first round, submitting Andrei Arlovsky, knocking out Alamado, knocking out Jake Collier, and then just going on an absolute tear before that, getting many other wins before that. We got Arnold Allen and Dan Hooker in the co-main event. Another heavyweight fight between number 8 ranked Shamil Abdurakhimov and number 15 ranked, number 16th ranked, something like that, Sergei Pavlovich. Rodrigo Vargas versus Paddy Pimblett, Nikita Krylov and Paul Craig, Takashi Sato, and Gunnar Nelson. That's it for the main card. And on the prelims, we got Molly McCann, Luana Carolina, Cody Durden, and the youngest MMA fighter in the UFC, Muhammad Mokaev, Mike Grundy, and Makwan Amirkhani, Cory McKenna, and Elise Reed, Jack Shore, Timur, Valiev, Jai Herbert, Ilia Topuria, and Vince Morales and Nathaniel Wood right there. Full card prediction coming up right now. As usual, if you guys liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Let's get this video to 250 likes. I'm really trying to get that because that would be my most liked video of all time. But with all of that being said, let's get into the first fight here in the UFC Bantamweight division. Nathaniel Wood and Vince Morales in the Bantamweight division. Vince Morales is going to be a little bit older. He's going to be a little bit taller, but Nathaniel Wood will have the reach advantage, and Nathaniel Wood will also have the advantage that the fight is going to happen on short notice. Originally, we had Nathaniel Wood and Ludwig Shalinyan. I would have got Nathaniel Wood dominantly winning that fight by a unanimous decision. But now he's going to fight Vince Morales, coming off 2 very solid wins. Draco Rodriguez by unanimous decision and Luis Smolka by a knockout. Nathaniel Wood beat John Castaneda by unanimous decision, Jose Alberto Quinones, and then Andre Ewell, only losing to John Dodson, former title challenger, and then Casey Kenny, top 25 bantamweight in the world. But this one should be a striking fight. I don't really take either guy, Vince Morales or Nathaniel Wood, as the type to really go out there and try to wrestle and grapple. None of these guys are looking to go for the takedown, look for the submission or anything like that. But if there were to be a takedown, I would lean more towards the Nathaniel Wood side. He does have a little bit better of a submission game and a little bit better wrestling, but that's not going to play too much of a factor here. The main thing we got to look at is going to be the striking. Nathaniel coming in on actually Vince Morales coming in on short notice. The cardio in the striking is going to go Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood is going to be the faster striker in my opinion, not the most powerful striker. I do believe Vince Morales has the better one-punch power, but Nathaniel's faster. He throws more volume. He's got really solid leg kicks and body kicks. It'll be a good fight. Vince Morales has the better hands. Nathaniel Wood has the better kicks. He's got more volume. He's got the better speed. So I am gonna go Nathaniel Wood to win here. The only real way I see Vince Morales winning is going to be a first or second round knockout, because other than that, his cardio is going to be at a disadvantage coming in on short notice. Nathaniel Wood had a full camp. He's faster, he's more volume and things like that, so it should be a good fight here. I can't see Vince Morales knocking him out. Casey Kenny couldn't do it. John Dodson was able to, so definitely Vince Morales could possibly go out there and get the knockout like he did against Luis Smolka, but yeah, I think Nathaniel Wood has the better striking, and I think Nathaniel Wood wins this fight by a unanimous decision. Jai Herbert and Ilia Topuria in the lightweight division. Ilia Topuria is actually the one taking this fight on short notice. 11 wins and 0 losses. He is actually the one coming in on short notice, because originally we had Mike Davis versus Jai Herbert. I probably would have gotten Davis to win the fight, but it would have been very close, because both guys are very solid strikers. Jai is a very long, very tall, very lengthy guy. That one would have been a very close one. This one is a much easier fight for Ilia Topuria. Ilia, 11-0 from Georgia. He's 25 years old. he's going to be a lot smaller. That's the one thing I looked at this fight and I was like, wow, oh my god, Jai Herbert is huge. But yeah, that's not the only thing. The height and reach advantage for Jai Herbert is not the only thing. Another thing we got to look at is the fact that Ilia has fought his entire career in the UFC and other organizations have featherweight division. This fight is not in the featherweight division. Instead, it is going to be in the lightweight division. So he's moving up 10 pounds in weight class to fight Jai Herbert. He's going to be about 3, 4, 5, 6 inches smaller in terms of height than Jai Herbert, and 8 inches smaller in terms of reach. That is insane advantage for Jai Herbert. I think Jai Herbert has really solid striking. We saw that in the Kama Worthy fight. We saw that in many of his fights. Jack Grant getting the knockout, Ken Carrizosa getting the knockout, but we've seen his weaknesses. Francisco Trinaldo going out there, pressuring him, getting his back to the cage, and just throwing a big shot and knocking him out. The other weakness being the grappling. Hanata Moicano took him down, and he submitted him. Ilia Topuria, very good grappler. So that submission loss that Jai Herbert had, that is a very live path to victory for Ilia Topuria. And the other way that Jai Herbert lost, by knockout to Francisco Trinaldo, Ilia Topuria did the exact same thing to Damon Jackson. Backed him up, threw a big shot down the middle, and knocked him out. So I think Ilia Topuria has the perfect ingredients to win, because the ways that Ilia Topuria wins his fights is either to take you down and dominate you there, or to press your back to the cage, throw a big shot, and knock you out like he did against Damon Jackson. So Jai Herbert, the ways he's losing are the ways Ilia Topuria wins. I think Ilia should have no problem winning the fight. It might be a little bit of a struggle early on in the fight to kind of close that height and reach advantage that Jai Herbert's going to have, but eventually he always does. He always closes the distance, lands a takedown, and I think we see a submission from Ilia Topuria here in the UFC lightweight division. Jack Shore and Timur Valiev in the bantamweight division. Very close fight. When I originally saw the fight, I was going to go to Timur Valiev originally, because I believe he's got solid takedown defense and he's going to have the better striking. But it is so tough. It's a very close one. Timur is in the prime of his MMA career at 32 years old, only losing to Trevin Jones by knockout until that was overturned. And then 1 or 2 other fights. Chris Gutierrez by a close split decision, and then Oli Ragberg way back in his career. But this is going to be a close one, man. I mean, Jack Shore is a very legit prospect in this bantamweight division, going out there, destroying Hunter Azure by unanimous decision, or by split decision. I don't know how it was a split. Then beating Lidvik Shalinyan by unanimous decision, beating Aaron Phillips by submission, Nohelin Hernandez by submission, and plenty of other guys by submission on the regional scene, going 12-0 as an amateur as well. So clearly the grappling and wrestling advantage is going to go Jack Shore, but the striking does go Timur Valiev, and the takedown defense of Timur Valiev honestly is pretty solid if you ask me. But yeah, you got the win over Martin Day by unanimous decision, got the win over Hayoni, got plenty of wins before that, but he has not faced as good of a grappler as Jack Shore. It's one of those fights where Timur Valiev has not been tested with as good of a grappler as Jack Shore, so we really don't know how he's going to fare in the grappling and how he's going to fare in the wrestling. But the same can be said for Jack Shore. He has not fought anywhere near as good of a striker as Timur Valiev, so it's a 50-50 fight. Honestly, you can coin flip, and wherever the coin lands on, that's probably who's going to win the fight. Definitely, I mean, this is absolutely crazy, having 82% of the vote going Shore. That is crazy in my opinion, but I think Shore wins. I do think he's gonna go out there and win the fight. But it's not gonna be a domination. I mean, there's 82% of the vote going Shore to win. They're probably looking at the undefeated record, but I can definitely see this fight being a decision win for Timur Valiev. It's a close fight, probably the closest fight on this entire fight card. Timur's the faster striker, the more powerful striker, there's more volume. He's got solid takedown defense, but Jack Shore eventually always does get that takedown. His striking is also very underrated. He's going to be 4 inches longer and have a 2-inch height advantage. It's going to be a close fight here. Again, I'm not confident on Jack Shore. I wouldn't be confident going to Timur Valiev either way. Closest fight on the card, 1000%. But I got Jack Shore by a very close split decision, 29-28 on the judges' scorecards. Elise Reed and Cory McKenna in the women's strawweight division. Cory McKenna McKenna, she's a solid grappler. Very, very solid, going out there, beating the likes of Kay Hostin in her last fight by unanimous decision, Vanessa Demopoulos by unanimous decision, and a couple wins over there at Cage Warriors. Only lost one fight by a split decision. She won the fight, guys. But yeah, this one is probably going to be more of a grappling, wrestling heavy fight, because that's what both girls kind of like to do. Elise Reed, probably more of the striker in this one, definitely wants the fight to stay on the feet, coming off that first round TKO win in Bellator, the second round knockout win on Hillary Rose in CFFC, and then some decision wins over Jasmine Jazz the Vicious and Jillian DeCourcy, and a lot of wins on her amateur career. But if you look at the last fight, even though, yeah, you can maybe give her credit that Sijara Eubanks is huge, and it was a short notice fight. Sijara is in the bantamweight division, whereas she's in the flyweight division, so you can give her a little bit of credit for coming in on short notice to fight Sijara Eubanks, who's just absolutely humongous for that division. But still, the way I saw Sijara Eubanks win the fight is going to be pretty similar to how Cory McKenna is going to win. Cory usually is going to have that reach disadvantage, just like in this fight. She's going to pressure forward with the boxing, just throwing a heavy volume, and with the wrestling and grappling advantage that Cory McKenna will have in this fight, she should be able to land the takedown on Elise Reed, control the fight on the ground, and possibly get a submission, possibly, but I don't think so. I think we're going to see a decision here. The last time she got a submission was 3 years ago against un-UFC caliber fighters, so I think we're going to see a decision here from Cory McKenna, out wrestling and out grappling for 3 straight rounds. Solid fight there in the women's strawweight division. Mike Grundy and Makwan Amirkhani in the featherweight division. Makwan and Mike Grundy are on very big losing streaks. Makwan losing 3 in a row to Edson Barbosa by unanimous decision, Kamwilla Kirk by a unanimous decision, and LaRowan Murphy by knockout. Also losing to Shane Burgos by knockout, but he did get the submission win on Danny Henry, which was very solid. So yeah, if Makwan Amirkhani is going to win the fight, it's going to be a submission. I mean, I really don't see him edging out a decision here against Mike Grundy. Mike is going to be the better wrestler here. I believe he's going to be the better boxer as well. He is going to be slightly more powerful, because I don't really think Makwan has any power in his hands, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, Mike Grundy is going to be the more powerful guy. He's going to be the better boxer, the better striker, the better wrestler, but the grappling does go Amirkhani, so it should be close. 70% going Grundy, 30% going Amirkhani. A lot of them saying it by a submission. Again, that would be the main way Amirkhani wins, is to take the fight down and then land a submission. But Mike Grundy does have some pretty good credentials when it comes to his wrestling. Just look up Mike Grundy wrestling. He's got some pretty solid credentials. So I would say Mike Grundy, if he wants to, could take the fight down. I don't think that's going to be the smartest path to victory against Makwan Amirkhani. The smartest way to win would be to defend the takedowns of Makwan Amirkhani, keep the fight on the feet, and outbox Makwan for 3 straight rounds. And that's what I see happening here. I think Mike Grundy is going to be the better striker. Is going to be the better wrestler, the more powerful guy. So yeah, I think Mike Grundy keeps the fight on the feet for 3 rounds, and he wins the fight by a unanimous decision. Muhammad Mokaev and Cody Durden in the flyweight division. Cody Durden, 12 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. Solid wrestler. That's all I can really say for Cody Durden. He's got pretty bad cardio, pretty bad striking, and then, okay wrestling. That's pretty much it. Muhammad Mokaev, on the other hand, he's going to be taller. He's going to be lengthier, in my opinion. I do believe he will be. He's going to be significantly younger, and he's going to be more experienced. You might be thinking, what in the world? He's got only 5 wins. How is he more experienced than Cody Durden? The reason being, if you look right here, Muhammad Mokaev is one of the most experienced amateur MMA fighters of all time. Look at all those wins in his amateur career, getting 5 knockout wins, 3 submission wins, and then 15 decision wins. As a pro, 2 knockout wins, 2 submission wins, and 2 decision wins. He's coming off a rear naked on Blaine O'Driscoll and Brave CF, a accidental groin kick. I watched that fight. I was pretty sad about it. And then a decision win on Abdul Hussein. But he's going to be, in my opinion, the better grappler here. He's going to be the better striker as well. And wrestling, maybe Durden could do good in the wrestling early on in the fight, but his cardio is absolute dog water. As the fight does go on, Muhammad Mokaev will have the better cardio. He will have the the better striking. He will have the better grappling, the better wrestling, the better power in his hands. Everything in this fight goes Muhammad Mokaev, except for the wrestling early on in the fight. After that, Muhammad has the advantage everywhere, and that for those reasons, I think we see a finish. I think Muhammad Mokaev, being a younger guy, making his UFC debut, one of the most hyped prospects, in my opinion. Maybe a lot of you guys don't know Muhammad Mokaev, but he's one of my most hyped fighters ever. I mean, I'm absolutely hyped on Muhammad Mokaev. He's gonna go out there and absolutely destroy Cody Durden and submit him, in my opinion, in the second round. In the first round, Cody's gonna survive a little bit. He's gonna be a little bit gassed, and in the second round, Muhammad's gonna take him down. He's gonna ground and pound him, and he's gonna Khabib Nurmagomedov him, and he's gonna rear naked choke submit him. So that's my prediction. Muhammad Mokaev, the Punisher, by submission in the second round. Amazing fight in the flyweight division. Molly McCann and Luana Carolina in the flyweight division. Luana Carolina, I think that's how you pronounce it, is 28 years old. She's going to be very tall and very, very lengthy for the division. That is crazy. I mean, 69-inch reach for the women's flyweight division is absolutely insane. I mean, if you look at the other guys that are on here, the men in the flyweight division, look at their reach. 67-inch reach for the men, and she's got a longer reach than that. She's very tall, very lengthy for the division, and you might think that'd be a good advantage for Luana Carolina, but not really. I mean, it would be an advantage against a lot of other opponents, but against Molly McCann has already faced that. She fought Jeon Kim in her last fight, who has pretty similar height and reach to Luana Carolina, 72-inch reach and a 5'7" height. She's literally taller and lengthier than Luana Carolina. So she already has experience fighting taller, lengthier opponents, since she did have that fight with Jeon Kim, and for those reasons, I don't really see that being too much of an advantage. But the way both fighters win here, Molly McCann go out there, do exactly what she did in that third and final round to Jeon Kim, pressure the heck out of Luana Carolina, get her back to the cage, and just go crazy with that pressure, and then take her down. Luana Carolina did get taken down plenty of times against Lupita Godinez. That was the reason a lot of people thought she won the fight, was because of the takedowns. But Molly McCann does have good takedowns. She's got solid wrestling, and she's got very, very good pressure. I believe this is a pretty 50-50 fight on Tapology. Or not on Tapology, on the actual betting odds right here. I believe they're going to be pretty 50-50, if I remember that. Let's see. Yeah, minus 120, minus 105 right there. So it's really a 50-50 fight on the betting odds. It should be decently close, but I think Molly McCann is better everywhere. On the feet, she's got the pressure, she's got the volume, she's got the power. On the ground, she's got the better wrestling, she's got the better cardio. I think this is a pretty self-explanatory prediction. Molly McCann by a unanimous decision. Gunnar Nelson and Takashi Sato in the welterweight division. Gunnar Nelson is a amazing grappler. 17 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw. Only losing to ranked opponents, pretty much. Damian Maia, I believe, was a former title challenger, fought Anderson Silva. Santiago Ponzinibbio was a top 8 opponent in the welterweight division. Leon Edwards, about to fight for the belt. Gilbert Burns, already fought for the belt, about to fight Hamza Chimaev. These are the guys that Gunnar Nelson is losing to. He beat Alex Oliveira by submission, Alan Joban by submission, Albert Tumero by submission, Zach Cummings by submission, Omar Akhmedov by submission, DeMarcus Johnson by submission. Yeah, you can see where I'm going with it. 13 submission wins, 1 decision win, and 3 knockout wins for Takashi Sato. If you look at the losses, a lot of them are coming by submission. Bilal Muhammad by submission, Glyco Franca by a submission, Miguel Baeza by a submission, and then Kenta Takashi by a knockout. Both guys either get finished a lot, like in the case of Takashi Sato, or they get the finishes a lot in the case of Gunnar Nelson. I think this is a very, very easy prediction to make. Yeah, Takashi does have that one-punch power, as we saw in his fights with Ben Saunders and with Jason Witt. So one punch lands, yeah, Takashi could win the fight, but again, it is short notice. Takashi did come in the fight about 2 days ago. Originally, it was supposed to be Claudio Silva and Gunnar Nelson. Now, it's honestly an easier opponent, because now he's fighting a guy that has really poor submission defense, and Gunnar Nelson's going to just absolutely destroy him. This is a very easy prediction in the welterweight division, I got Gunnar Nelson by submission in the first or second rounds. Nikita Krylov and Paul Craig in the light heavyweight division. Very, very close fight. The betting odds actually have Nikita Krylov as the favorite. I would think it should be like a 50-50 fight. I think the odds should be -110, -110, because it is a very, very close one. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. 73% going Craig to win the fight by submission, and then 27% going Krylov to win the fight mainly by a decision. So it should be a close fight. I mean, either way, it should be pretty even. I think there's a very good shot Paul Craig goes out there and lands that submission. We've seen what he did, getting submission wins on Vincius Mejera, Gadzhimurov Antagulov, Mauricio Hua by knockout, Jamal Hill by that submission below, and then even submitting Magomed Ankalaev, the main event for this weekend right here. Triangle choke submission in the third round. Kennedy Nzechukwu, triangle choke submission in the third round. So we know the man has very, very good submission skills. 12 submissions and 3 knockout wins. The reason he's getting those knockout wins are literally because he's about to submit them, and then he knocks him out. I mean, Mauricio Hua is about to submit him, and then he just starts ground and pounding him. Jamal Hill is about to submit him, then he starts ground and pounding him and finishes him. So, we know the grappling credentials of Paul Craig. We know they're very, very legit. We know there's a very good shot he goes out there and submits Nikita Krylov, especially because he got submitted by Paul Craig. He got submitted by Misha Sirganov. He's got submitted by Ovi St. Preux. He got submitted by Vladimir Mishenko. He got submitted by our arm triangle against Vladimir Mishenko again right there. So, yeah, he's been submitted a lot. Like a lot, but he's a very solid guy. Got a split decision loss to the champion, Glover Teixeira. That's very impressive. He submitted Ovi St. Preux in the rematch. He dominated Johnny Walker right there, and then he lost to Magomed Ankalaev. But so what? This is gonna be a close fight right here. I believe the submission defense of Nikita Krylov has improved significantly since all of those submission losses earlier in his career. I know all he's working right now is triangle choke submission defense, and that is pretty much it. The only way Paul Craig is going to get a takedown here is if he grabs the head of Nikita Krylov and pulls it to guard. That is literally the only way. That's what he did against Jamal Hill. Then he got that TKO, but fighting a guy like Nikita Krylov, I think that's why Nikita Krylov is going to win, is because he's the better wrestler. Paul Craig was able to get the guys down like Mauricio Hua, Jamal Hill, Gadzhimurov Antagulov, Vincent Mejera, all of those guys, he was able to get them down, but none of those guys are anywhere near as good of wrestling and grappling as Nikita Krylov, and for those reasons, I think Nikita Krylov should actually win this fight. He's got the better wrestling, he's got the better striking, and all he really needs to do is not get the fight to the ground. Because if the fight stays on the feet, Nikita is the better fighter on the feet. So, yeah, it should be a good fight. I think Paul Craig, very, very live dog. 1,000% could land that submission, but Nikita's younger, he's got better striking, he's got better wrestling, he's faster on the feet, he's got more power, he's got solid takedown defense as well. This one should stay on the feet for 3 rounds, and I'm expecting a Nikita Krylov decision win. Paddy Pimblett and Rodrigo Vargas in the lightweight division. Rodrigo Vargas with 36 years of age. He's going to be smaller than Paddy, he's going to be less in terms of reach than Paddy, and he's going to be a lot older than Paddy as well. But age has never really been a problem for Rodrigo Vargas, as we saw in the last fight, beating, I believe, 22 or 23-year-old Zhu Rong by a unanimous decision, only losing to Alex da Silva and then Brock Weaver right there. He's got solid striking, I will give him that. He's got very, very solid striking, a lot of knockout wins on his record, and a lot of submission wins as well. 7 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 2 decisions. He's never been knocked out in his career. That's the main thing I was looking at with this fight, is that, yeah, Paddy's coming off a knockout win on Luigi Venturamini, but Rodrigo can eat a shot for sure. He can eat shots like nobody's business. He just eats them and just keeps on coming forward, looking for the takedown and things like that. So I do believe Paddy will be the better striker. He's taller, he's lengthier. He's faster, he's a little bit more powerful, but I don't think he's going to knock out Rodrigo Vargas on the feet. So for those reasons, I'm either expecting a decision win from Paddy Pimblett, just striking for 3 straight rounds, or if Paddy Pimblett does decide to get this into more of a grappling match and try to get the fight to the floor, I think we could definitely see a submission, because he submitted Davide Martinez, he TKO'd Deki Dalton, submitted Alexis Savidis right there as well. So I think there's a possibility we see a submission here from Paddy Pimblett, but I'm gonna lean to a decision. Kazula is a very tough guy, very hard to finish in his MMA career. And I don't think he's gonna like take down Rodrigo many times in the fight. And if you look at how Paddy wins his fights by submission, it's mainly on the ground, guillotines, triangle choke submissions, things like that. I don't think Paddy's gonna put himself in that position. So I see this one being a striking fight. Paddy being more powerful, more fast, taller, more lengthier. He should have won the fight by decision right there. Solid fight in the lightweight division. Shamil Abdurakhimov and Sergei Pavlovich in the heavyweight division. Sergei Pavlovich 14-1 as his MMA record shows, beating guys like Marcelo Golm and Maurice Green, both guys that are no longer in the UFC. His only loss is going to be to Alistair Overeem by first round knockout. He's beaten some solid guys on his record, a lot of veterans on his record outside of the UFC. He's got 11 knockout wins and 3 decision wins, and that is why this fight's not going the distance. I'll tell you guys right now, there's no chance that Shamil is going to win a decision, that Sergei Pavlovich is going to win a decision. This is knockout or knockout. That's pretty much the case here. But yeah, Sergei is going to be a lot lengthier than Shamil Abdurakhimov by about 8 inches. That is absolutely insane advantage for Sergei Pavlovich. He's going to be the better striker in my opinion. He's a lot younger at 29 years old. He's a lot faster. He's got pretty decent wrestling and grappling as well. But I think this one's mainly going to stay on the feet. We know both guys have some decent wrestling and grappling to fall back on in a few of their fights, but this one should stay on the feet, and Sergei being younger, more fast, more powerful, taller, lengthier, he should go out there, land a big shot down the middle, and knock out Shamil Abdurakhimov in the first or second round. A really good fight in the heavyweight division. Arnold Allen and Dan Hooker in the featherweight division. Dan Hooker beating guys like Nasser Hakparas, like Paul Felder, and plenty of other guys. I mean, the only guys he's losing to are beasts. Dustin Poirier, title challenger. Michael Chandler, title challenger. Islam Makhachev, almost going to be a title challenger in the next few years. Edson Barbosa, a guy that fought Habib Nurmagomedov. Yair Rodriguez, top 5 featherweight in the world. And then, you got Jason Knight, Maximo Blanco, some of those lower ranked guys down there on his early MMA career, but we're not talking about that. We need to talk about him knocking out Jim Miller, him knocking out Gilbert Burns, him beating Ale Quinta, Paul Felder, James Vick. All of these very, very solid wins there. And he's shown to be a very, very good finisher earlier in his career, but as his career has gone on, he's been more of a decision guy. I mean, he decisioned Ale Quinta, Paul Felder, Nasser Hakparas, and probably if he beats Arnold Allen here, it's probably going to be a decision as well. But it should be a good one. Arnold is going to be significantly smaller in terms of height and in terms of reach. The striking advantage does go Dan Hooker, but not by much. And it should be a good one. Arnold Allen is going to be the natural featherweight fighter. Dan Hooker moving from that lightweight division, fighting Islam, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Nasser, all those guys. He's cutting down 10 more pounds to fight Arnold Allen. So that is going to be an interesting thing to see, is how drained will Dan Hooker be. But I don't think it's going to be that much of a disadvantage for him. But Arnold Allen is going to be a legit grappler. He submitted Maz Burnell, one of the best grapplers over there in Bellator, about to fight in the main event for Bellator 276, and Arnold Allen went out there and he submitted that guy. That is very, very impressive. That is why I do think Arnold Allen is going to win this fight. He beat Sodiq Yusuf. He actually outstruck Sodiq Yusuf and outgrappled Sodiq Yusuf. That's kind of what he does in a lot of his fights in the UFC. For those reasons, I got Arnold Allen winning this one by a decision. We saw the last fight with Islam Makhachev taking him down and then submitting him very, very fast. Arnold Allen is nowhere near as good of a wrestler and grappler as Islam Makhachev, but he should be able to land a takedown or two in the fight and use that to win the fight by a decision. On the feet, Hooker is going to be 4 inches taller. He's going to be 5.5 inches lengthier in terms of his reach. Got better kicks, got more volume and things like that, but Arnold is going to keep it very, very even. I know he's going to want to keep the fight at range and eventually just pop in some shots coming into that range of Dan Hooker. And if he comes into that range of Dan Hooker is going to counter back with some shots. Arnold Allen's going to go down for the takedown many, many times throughout the fight, and I think that's what's going to be able for Arnold Allen to win the fight is going to be the wrestling and grappling. It's a very, very close fight. You can see right there, minus 108, and guess what? Minus 108. Arnold was the favorite at the start, and he was the underdog at one point as well. I'm going to go Arnold Allen here. It's a super close fight. Hooker, if he's going to win, it's going to be 3 rounds of striking. If Allen's going to win, it's going to be very, very lackluster striking. Not really much happening. And then him just mixing in the takedowns as well. It's going to be close. I'm not confident on this pick by any means because it is so, so close in my opinion. Literally a coin flip, no matter what, whoever wins the fight. But I'm going to go Arnold Allen by a very, very close decision win. Alexander Volkov and Tom Aspinall in the heavyweight division. Tom Aspinall will be the more powerful guy. He's going to be the younger guy, but he's also going to have the height disadvantage. He's going to have the reach disadvantage. He's going to have the experience disadvantage. There's a lot of things going for Tom Aspinall, and there's a lot of things going for Alexander Volkov. First things first, power. Definitely going Aspinall. Volume in terms of the striking, definitely going towards Volkov. Experience going Volkov, but the wrestling and grappling, that is a huge component to this fight, because if you're fighting a guy like Alexander Volkov, you know is a legit striker. The only way he's losing to other strikers are when they're the most powerful guy in the heavyweight division in Derek Lewis, or they're literally just going out there and outpointing you like a Ciryl Gane. Aspinall is neither one of those guys. I don't really think he's going to outpoint Alexander Volkov to a decision like Ciryl Gane did. I don't think he's going to land that one punch on Derek Lewis and knock him out, although it's possible. We've seen what he did against Sergei Spivak, against Jay Collier, against Alan Mado, and so on and so forth. But I don't think that's going to be his path to victory. I think the path to victory is not going to be like Ciryl Gane. Not going to be like Derek Lewis, but instead, it's going to be a mixture of all three. I mean, the three guys that have been able to beat Alexander Volkov in the UFC all have styles similar to Tom Aspinall. Derek Lewis, Aspinall has that style to land that one punch and knock you out. He's also the style. He's a very good mover on the feet, very fast, very elusive, like a Ciryl Gane. Not to the extent of Ciryl Gane, not to the extent of Derek Lewis. Not to the extent of Curtis Blades in terms of wrestling, but he has very good points of action towards all of these guys. Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, and Ciryl Gane, all the guys that have been able to beat Alexander Volkov. Tom Aspinall has little bits of all three of those guys. I think he's going to mix all of that together, make it a little point-striking fight on the feet, eventually look to land some really big shots to kind of emphasize that he's winning the round on the judges' scorecards, and he's also going to mix in the takedown. So I think if he mixes in all the ways that Volkov loses, landing in the big shots every now and then, kind of playing a more patient game, just landing some shots like Ciryl Gane game, and mixing in the takedowns like a Curtis Blades game. If you can mix all of those three together, I think we're going to see a Tom Aspinall decision win here. I think one round could go Volkov. He is the more... He's been in a lot of 5-round fights recently, so I think he might be better later on as the fight does go. So I'll give one round in the 4th or 5th round to Volkov. But 4 out of 5, I'm going to go Tom Aspinall. So it's a good fight there in the heavyweight division. I got Aspinall winning by a unanimous decision. That is my full card prediction for UFC Fight Night Volkov versus Aspinall. 13 fights on the entire fight card. I got Aspinall winning by a decision. I got Arnold Allen winning by a decision. Sergei Pavlovich by knockout. Paddy Pimblett by a decision. Nikita Krylov by a decision. Gunnar Nelson by a submission. Molly McCann by a decision. Mokaev by a submission. Mike Grundy by a decision. Cory McKenna by a decision. Jack Shore by a decision, Ilia Topuria by a submission, and Nathaniel Wood by a decision. Those are my early predictions. Not too early. Only 9 days from UFC Fight Night Volkov versus Aspinall. And as usual, if you guys liked the video, make sure you guys go down below and hit the like button. Trying to get this video to 250 likes. It would be greatly appreciated. Make sure to subscribe as well. Turn on those notifications. And if you want to take your betting game to to the next level, you want to make some props, you want to make some parlays for UFC Fight Nights, for UFC pay-per-views, and anything like that, you can become a member right here. Just go onto your desktop mode and press this join button right there. Only 10 cents a day, literally a dime a day to have all of the best bets for UFC, Bellator, and PFL, and so on and so forth. It's literally the cost of a bottle of water per month. Absolutely insane. If you don't go onto desktop mode, you could go on just to any one of my videos and click this right here, right at the end of this video, and you can become a member for 10 cents a day. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.